Okay, let's dive right into this. Welcome everyone to today's explainer. Now, if you're a small business owner, a marketing director, or honestly just the person who drew the short straw and got tasked with getting a new website off the ground, this one is absolutely for you. Today, we're tackling a topic that causes literally endless headaches, and that is hiring a web design agency. Our whole mission right now is to empower you to spot those sneaky bait and switch tactics that are just way too common in this industry. By the end of this explainer, you're going to know exactly what red flags to look for, and honestly, this could quite literally save you thousands of pounds and months of completely wasted time on your next project.
So, why is it so incredibly hard to spot a bad web agency? If you've been burned before, it's completely natural to feel frustrated by this. But the truth is, bad agencies don't usually look bad on the surface, right? They hide behind these beautifully polished homepages, they throw around all the right industry buzzwords, and man, they have some incredibly friendly sales reps on those initial discovery calls. They make it genuinely difficult to tell the good from the bad. It's usually not until you've actually signed the contract and the work begins that the cracks finally start to show. And you really need to spot those cracks early, because the real costs of a bad engagement are just staggering. We are not just talking about a minor inconvenience here. We're talking about wasted money, paying for retainers that yield absolutely nothing, or worse, having to pay a second agency to come in and fix the first one's mess. We're talking about lost time, wasting months in these endless, soul-crushing email chains and back-and-forth revisions that go nowhere. Then there's the stalled momentum. Think about it. Every single day your site isn't working for you, you're actively losing leads to your competitors. And perhaps most damaging of all, a bad experience shatters your trust. It ruins your trust in agencies, in the marketing process, and sometimes even in your own decision-making. So yeah, the stakes are incredibly high. All right, let's break this down into phases, starting with phase 1, the initial vibe. Specifically, we're looking at portfolios and promises.
Okay, so before you even think about jumping on a discovery call, look out for red flag number 1, portfolio problems. Look, any agency out there can show you a stunning, picture-perfect Figma mockup or a really slick screenshot of a design. But screenshots don't generate leads. You absolutely must demand to see live URLs of actual websites they've built for real businesses. And when you get those links, actually click around. Do the pages load quickly? Is the navigation intuitive? Does it look good on your phone? If they only show you mockups, run. Oh, and here is a massive bonus warning sign for you. Go look at the agency's very own website. If their site is slow, outdated, or looks like it was built back in 2005, how on earth are you supposed to trust them to build a great one for you?
Moving on to red flag number 2, the impossible guarantee. If an agency flat out promises that they will get you to page 1 of Google, especially by some specific magic date, you need to walk away immediately. It is an incredibly old trick and it's just dishonest. Search rankings rely on hundreds of constantly shifting factors that literally no single agency controls. So, the green flag you actually want to look for instead is an agency that promises to build SEO-ready sites. This means they're focusing on clean code, proper heading structures, and fast loading times. They're laying a technically sound foundation without making wild promises they can't legally or practically keep. Moving right along to phase 2, the pitch. This part is all about process and performance.
Okay, so picture this. You're on the discovery call, you're loving the pitch, the vibes are immaculate. But now you face red flag number 3. Who is actually going to design and build this site? This is your classic bait and switch. You have this brilliant, inspiring call with a senior designer or a charismatic creative director who just completely gets your brand. You sign the contract feeling amazing. But what they don't tell you is that the second the ink is dry, your project is handed off to an unsupervised junior staffer or it's outsourced to an overseas freelancer. You have to ask them directly on that call, who is my main point of contact and who is physically doing the work? And this brilliantly illustrates our next point, which is red flag number 4, ignoring the technical realities of the modern web. Just consider this number, 60%. Over 60% of UK web traffic now comes from mobile phones. So if an agency spends their entire pitch talking about colors and fonts and aesthetics, but they never once mention mobile responsiveness, you are being set up for failure. A site that looks beautiful on a giant desktop monitor but totally breaks on a smartphone, that's losing you more than half of your potential customers before they even read a single word. Now, performance isn't just about screen size, it's about speed. And Google's own research highlights this perfectly with our next number, 32%. Get this, if your page load time increases from just 1 measly second to 3 seconds, the probability of a visitor bouncing, which means they just leave your site immediately, spikes by 32%.
A good agency should be talking to you about core web vitals, image optimization, and page speed from literally day one. If they don't bring it up, you're likely just buying an incredibly expensive digital brochure that nobody's actually going to wait around to read.
All right, things are getting serious now. Welcome to phase 3, the paperwork. We need to talk about contracts and ownership. Now that things are getting legally binding, you need to be aware of red flag number 5. And this is a big one. Realizing you don't actually own your own website. Some agencies build sites on these locked-down proprietary platforms, meaning if you ever want to leave them, you literally have to start from scratch. So to protect yourself, just keep this 4-step mental checklist in mind. Step 1. Ensure you own the domain name. It has to be registered to your business, not the agency. Step 2. You must own the raw design files. Step 3. You should be able to manage your own content via a content management system, something like WordPress. And step 4, your site must be fully portable. If you ever decide to part ways with this agency, you take the code and the files with you. No questions asked. Which brings us nicely to red flag number 6, the contract traps themselves. Now, contracts are perfectly normal, right? They show professionalism, but you have to watch out for terms that are designed entirely to protect the agency's revenue rather than your actual results. Beware of those 12-month retainers that have absolutely no performance benchmarks attached to them. Watch out for vague scopes of work that conveniently forget to define the number of pages or the exact features. Never, ever sign a contract without a clear exit clause. And finally, make sure the revision rounds are clearly outlined. Remember, fair terms protect both sides. A bad contract only protects the agency.
Finally, we've made it to phase 4, the final decision. Let's talk about sales tactics.
So now we're at the close, and here comes red flag number 7. It usually sounds a little something like this. Your website is losing you money right now. We have a slot opening up, but you have to decide today to get our 30% discount. Yeah, those are purely manipulative, desperate tactics. Artificial scarcity and massive, fast-expiring discounts are entirely designed to create panic and force you into a quick signature before you even have time to think it through. A true professional agency is never going to try and scare you into doing business with them. They're going to give you the time and the space you need to make a solid, confident decision. So the crucial point here is knowing exactly what a healthy, successful partnership looks like. We've talked a lot about the red flags, so let's flip it around to the good agency checklist. You want an agency that eagerly provides a live portfolio of real working websites. You want a completely transparent process where you know exactly who is doing the work. They should be building SEO and performance metrics in right from the start. You absolutely must have full ownership of your digital assets. Their contracts need to be clear and fair. They should be asking you really insightful questions about your business, not just dictating a design to you. And above all else, their communication should be absolutely 100% pressure-free. To wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one final kind of provocative thought to chew on as you evaluate your next agency partner. Look at the proposal sitting on your desk right now and ask yourself, if your agency is pushing you to sign today, what are they afraid you'll discover tomorrow? Seriously, take your time, do your homework, look out for these 7 red flags, and thoroughly audit your prospective agency. Armed with all this new knowledge, you are more than capable of making a really confident, powerful choice for your business. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I really hope this helps you go out there and build something absolutely amazing.